Welcome back in. Extra Point. Towerhead, Intern Joe hanging out here. As he does each and every Friday, we've talked about everything to do with this regional up there in Raleigh, except perhaps the most important question. For those that may not recall, last year when Colin and I were doing the In the Bonus show, as Carolina was hosting the regional a year ago, we had a pretty unique matchup of mascots. We had, of course, South Carolina Gamecocks. The NC State Wolfpack was here a year ago. The Campbell Camels, and the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils. And it posed the question of which of those mascots would end up winning in a fight if they just all kind of brawl together. And while not as unique of a matchup of mascots this year, I do think we can pose the same question about this year's matchup between Gamecocks, Wolfpack, Dukes, and Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think there's one clear and obvious winner, and then the rest are kind of fighting it out.
I'm going to assume your clear winner is Wolfpack, right?
Yeah, I think NC's the Wolfpack just.
Now, what is the definition of pack? Does that mean like 5?
That's what I'm assuming, or just one like supercharged dog, like
maybe
counts as a wolf pack, just all in one dog.
But here's the thing to me is because Dukes also dog, Bulldog also dog, so we have 3 different breed of dog here, all very capable of being aggressive and fighting. So I don't know if I'd definitively give it to Wolf Pack right out the gate, assuming we're just talking about one wolf here. Because, I mean, there's like 12 of them, and yeah, sure, of course they're going to win. But to make it fair, we'll take one wolf from the pack and pit it up against the Duke, the Bulldogs. And, see, here's the thing that I said last year about the Gamecock. It's really easy to look at and say, oh, that's a bird. Well, it's just going to get taken out instantly. I don't think so necessarily. It has the advantage of flight, elusiveness. You're charging at it, it jumps out of the way. It's flying up in the air. Guess what? You can't catch it. It perches itself on top of, I don't know, a building or something like that. Can't catch it then either. It has the ability to get away, to tire you out, and then strike when you're at your most fatigued.
So I know it's a butt kicking chicken. I know that for a fact. But can it fly for that long? Because, I mean, chickens, I don't...
They are limited.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Couldn't a wolf just wait, it flies up in a tree or whatever, but,
Well...
And, I get that. So that's the one argument for that. I don't think either of the 2 Bulldogs, are winning anything. Because it's just, when you add the aggressiveness of a wolf, I mean, that just takes a Royal Bulldog, tiny.
Don't sleep on the Gamecock. The talons are the X factor to me.
100%.
You can gouge some eyes out. Because here's the thing. You can be the most aggressive wolf in the world. If you can't see where you're going, you're going to have a tough time. So you jump on its head immediately, get those eyes, can't see anything anymore. And again, it's losing its mind. And you're out there and it might be death by 1,000 paper cuts. Because again, we know Gamecocks are aggressive. They're an aggressive bird, a fighting bird at that. You start nipping at that thing, just taking it piece by piece. It might take a while, but you can take it down.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think... As elusive as the butt-kicking chicken is of the Gamecock, I think it would definitely be a close fight. Again, it just simply because of the flight thing, because the chicken can just float and flutter. And,
exactly.
But again, all it takes is a wolf. It's just one snap and one. So you got to be calm and calculated, as Gamecocks are, though.
Very true. And again, I'm not putting Gamecock as my number 1 seed here, but I don't think it should be thought of it's just going to get taken out immediately at the beginning of the fight.
It certainly makes it down to the final gauntlet, at least, or the final the final match.
Yeah,
at least.
Now, what is our distinction between Duke and Bulldog here?
I mean, I think the Duke is just a bigger Bulldog, right?
I mean, they look similar. I'm looking up a picture of a Duke here, and it is effectively a Bulldog. So I really don't know if there's a huge difference in them.
Nah. I mean, and that's saying, if you could have Ugga be a mean Bulldog versus, a Duke kind of thing, like a Royal, I don't know. Does he get the staff? Because, I mean, the JMU, the mascot has the staff and the crown, and, I mean, that could pose some issues.
Well, if I know anything about Bulldogs, it might just end up taking a nap and setting the fight out.
Like Ugga in that AC conditioned doghouse that you guys have over there.
Ugga lives a better life than most students do over there.
Yeah, absolutely, which is crazy. But God bless Ugga.
So I would probably say Wolfpack is going to be looked at as the number 1 seed. But then I guess you go you can go either way with Duke and Bulldog. And Carolina's or the Gamecocks going to come in as the low seed, but it's got a fighting chance, I feel like.
And see, I think when you factor in both Bulldogs, because it's not that big of a dog. Like a Wolf's pretty big dog. But, a Bulldog, it's a little bit smaller, and the chicken, the Gamecock is going to might be able to maneuver around and be able to take out the first two and hope the Bulldogs take care of themselves as well.
Well, fortunately, this year we're not having to deal with a mythical creature. Like Colin and I were trying to decipher, akin to what Mike Leach said years ago. You got to establish like what the powers of a Blue Devil are. Like, does he have like a pitchfork? Can he like set things on fire? Can he turn things to ice? Like, what can he do outside of the normal realm of possibilities that make it an unfair fight?
Yeah, leave it to the man, the myth, the legend, Colin Taylor to decide that. I'm sure he probably got to the bottom of it pretty quickly. But yeah, no, I mean, the Blue Devil, all of the mythic powers or whatever, thank God we're not running into that quite yet. And I mean, Uga could potentially be in play in the Supers as well.
Scott weighs in and says the Gamecock challenge would be like a fatal four-way match. Gamecock would hide under the ring until the other three have beaten each other and then come out at the very end and win. That is a good point as well. Like, if we're talking like gauntlet here, just throwing them in the ring at the same time, that elusiveness. Because, like, okay, here's the thing. You're not going to keep chasing the bird if it keeps, floating out of the way. Like, all right, I'm going to go focus my attention on one of these dogs or this wolf or whatever. They beat each other to a pulp, and Gamecock just kind of wanders along there at the end and finishes the job off.
Cocky's entrance is dropping, like coming out of the box, right? So
exactly.
I think that's spot on. That's exactly how it should go.
Like I said, don't sleep on the Gamecock. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to see these mascots fight each other this weekend.
No.
We'll just have to stick to watching baseball get played out. But should be good. Should be fun.
Yeah, it should be a pretty fun regional. Tyler, as always, appreciate you having me on. And it'll be fun.
I really hope next week we're talking about more baseball being played and not having those uncomfortable conversations that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah, hopefully. And again, Coach Kingston doesn't want that. Nobody wants to be having that conversation next week.
So we'll see what happens. Again, first pitch coming up today, 2 o'clock, 1:45 pregame right here on the game. Appreciate it as always, Joe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you as always.
Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs coming up next right here on the game.